Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2014 commencement ceremony of the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine. We'll be celebrating the graduates seated here in front of you for the next couple hours. I've been working with these graduates for the past several years. I know them, some better than others. For everyone else here, no matter what the relationship between you and the graduates, you too are part of this story. Without all of you, they would have had a much harder journey. So it's you whom I'd like to recognize now. Let's have a hearty round of applause for everyone who is here to witness the passage of these graduates into the next phase of their lives. Of course, my sincere congratulations to you, the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine graduating class of 2014. For now, though, let's forget everything else. Just be present and be a witness for these graduates and for one another. We are all so fortunate and blessed to be here in this place at this time. So I would like everyone here to please close your eyes for a minute, bask in the present moment, and just give good thoughts to our graduates. And now, please open your eyes, stay present, and let's enjoy the day. Do you know how difficult it is to meet the challenges and commitment of a medical education program? All of you seated in front know. And I suspect that many of the rest of you have some understanding of that. For the doctoral students to come back to school for 4 or 5 intense days, almost monthly, for 2 years, quite a commitment. For the master's students to undertake an intense educational program which takes vision and stamina. Each one of you had a dream that you held close to your hearts and hopefully still do. Whether that dream was to improve your knowledge and practice to help more people, whether that dream was to learn more about Chinese medicine and move your practices into Western medical settings, whether that dream was to step into research and shed new light onto a traditional form of medicine, whether that dream was to begin to develop your own clinical practice to serve those who were suffering, whether that dream was to bring affordable, effective, and safe medicine to underserved populations around the country and the world. You now have the tools to make those dreams a reality, and are entering a profession, a community of healers dedicated to help relieve the suffering of the people in this world and improve their health. Formal schooling has been just a short stop on this path of your dream. Remember, this is a commencement ceremony, the start of something new. So today, let's share each other's joy and celebrate with these graduates, both an end and a beginning. Still, there may be many questions in your hearts and minds about what awaits. One of my favorite writers, Rainer Maria Rilke, said, "Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers, which cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. The point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. Our ceremony will begin today with Dr. Gohui Liu, who is a scholar of Chinese medicine. He couples his academic pursuits with a heart of gold in order to effectively reach his students and treat his patients. He brings our students a link to China's medical past. Dr. Liu will invoke that connection to remind us of the greater whole in which we find ourselves. Dr. Liu?
Okay, hi. Good afternoon, everyone in this hall, your class of the 2014, your family, your friends. This is a great moment for all of you. In Chinese philosophy, we said that this is a double happiness because the student has successfully finished their assiduous study in this school, and another happiness is your family come here to celebrate this great moment for you. There is a family gathering. And yesterday I heard that one student, Tai, has got the daughter. This is a triple happiness. I think this, before I come to this hall, I saw him. I think that he looks very excited. Of course, you deserve to have this happiness because in the last 3 years, you have been studying very, very hard. Studying the Chinese medicine is not easy because most of you born in this country, you learn the medicine that quitted in 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. There's a difference between what you have learned before and what in Chinese medicine in terms of the cultural philosophy. So it's very hard to learn. And I have been feel very honored to teach all of you for master program and a doctoral program. Today I feel a little bit nervous to give a speech in this moment because I don't know how should I say about your future. So there is probably one more test for you before you graduated. So I suffer from what called the menopause syndrome. Feel hard, sweating, palpitation here. I don't know how do you guys treat this. But I believe in the future, probably I saw some people use the paper as a fine. Probably you have this problem too. This is a contagious one. I hope in the future, in your study, in your practice, you will become more calm. And for your future study and practice, I will give you the one analogy. In Chinese medicine, we said the gentleman should behave as a bamboo. Bamboo is very hollow. You know, they have a hollow, but they can take anything in. But it never been, attacked by wind. No matter how strong the wind it is, the bamboo, the root they spread over and very deep. I think that when you have the bamboo garden, you really have to be careful because the root is very deep. So I strongly believe what you have studied in this school have given you the very strong foundation, like the bamboo root. But in the future, you should be very hollow and be very open to any other ideas. Don't follow the Dr. Liu's the doctrine or their idea. You only focus on the Shanghai, only focus on the one passage disease. Don't do that. You should open your mind. Now you climb the stair to the hall of the Chinese medicine. There are so many rooms. Some room will be the more colorful, some room will be the more quiet. So find the room, then switch to you and sit there and never give up. Continue study. Study the Chinese medicine is a lifelong process. Lifelong process. So even for me, I still keep studying. So in this moment, I have 3 suggestions for you. First, rest. After today, you guys need the rest because you spent so many time to study this medicine, and it's very hard to start. Second, and take time spend with your family because you get a lot of the support from your family, your friends, your lovers. So they deserve to have the time to get together and to celebrate. The third is keep your minds open, continue study Chinese medicine. And as a faculty, in this school, when you have any question, you can send our email. We will be happy to help you. We are all behind of you. So, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. I think those are words of wisdom to rest. And if you rest and nourish yourselves, you'll become like that bamboo, and you'll grow strong. But I think the rest and nourishment are really important at the beginning. Dr. Michael Gaeta, OCOM's president, is an extraordinary man, a leader with soul. He personifies the ideal of turning challenges into opportunities. With today's pressures in finances, education, and healthcare, leading any organization is a challenge. Dr. Gaeta has shown strong leadership to keep OCOM in its preeminent position of excellence in the Oriental medical community. He has also maintained that we must remain excellent in everything we do. This striving for excellence is punctuated with gratitude. Gratitude. That is Dr. Gaeta's key word at this point. We all feel a deep sense of gratitude for Dr. Gaeta, for the college, for each other, for our students, for all of our patients. Dr. Gaeta is one of the most gracious people whom I know. In his work, in his life, he remains humble with an open heart to all of life at the college and beyond. He leads with his heart as well as with his mind. He and I have developed a strong bond, similar ways of thinking, philosophical, spiritual matters. We spend regular time together at breakfast, hiking in the woods. But for now, as those of you who know him, his quick mind and his heartfelt smile brighten our work days. My friend, my paisan, Michael.
Good afternoon. Hard act to follow. Joe's a great person, and as he said, paisan. And I really want to just say to you, what's coming to me is, as I sit and look around this room, and even more importantly, open my heart and it feels like a big bubble of joy in here. And I invite and encourage all of us, not only the graduates, but those who have come to witness this beautiful celebration of joy, to experience it and feel it in this special time. I'd like to begin by saying welcome and congratulations to the graduates, their families, and the significant others who are here. Welcome also to our trustees, our faculty and staff that are present. A special welcome to Dr. Lee Hollander-Rubin, our keynote speaker, doctoral student Liz Spetnagel, and master's student Jackie Wilson, who are our student speakers. Finally, to all of you, our guests, thank you for being present to witness and participate in our graduates' celebration of accomplishment. To our soon-to-be graduates, your classes are over. Yay! However, the meaning of this ceremony, commencement, is one of beginning, not ending. Today is the beginning of a new stage of your life. On behalf of the entire OCOM community, trustees, faculty, staff, and the many, many patients you have served, our heartfelt gratitude for choosing OCOM to be a partner with you on this part of your life journey. Somewhere back in your past, each of you formulated a vision to become a practitioner of Chinese medicine. And in the case of our doctoral graduates, to advance your training and skill sets as a practitioner. Today, that vision manifests. Kudos and congratulations to our graduates. But as we all know, life's journey doesn't stop yet. As you continue to take your life journey, with this chapter closing, and you ready yourself to embark on the next chapter, I'd like to leave you with a blessing from an individual who came to our school several months ago. And in a presentation in the largest classroom in the building, over 125 people, the entire time he spoke, you could hear a pin drop in that room. His name was Roman Bitsui, a Navajo medicine man. He visited us and he shared his thinking regarding the principles of healing from the Navajo tradition. And as I said, for an entire hour and 15 minutes, you could hear a pin drop in the room. One of the things that he shared with us was a blessing, and I'd like to share it with the group today. And it goes like this: I will walk in front of me beautiful. I will walk behind me beautiful. Under me beautiful. On top of me beautiful. Around me beautiful. My words will be beautiful. In beauty may I walk. My wish for each of you is that may you walk in beauty. And while you are walking in beauty, stirring the magic of life without fear as you help the world heal one patient at a time. Namaste and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Gaeta. I think we can take that concept of beauty and gratitude and live our lives, every moment of our lives, by looking for those opportunities to find beauty and gratitude, because they're present in every situation, no matter how difficult it may be. I've known Dr. Liz March for almost 2 decades now. We share a passion for both medicine and music. Several years ago, we played a duet at OCOM's yearly No Talent show. Liz was the talented part of the duo. I played the no talent part. She was first a student of mine, then a trusted teaching assistant, and now a colleague in the faculty. She serves on the executive committee of the Faculty Senate as one of our faculty leaders. Her journey through all these diverse roles lends itself to having a unique perspective on OCOM, the changes that have occurred over time, and the educational process itself. Over the years, she has shown a tremendous sense of commitment to our medicine, commitment to our students, commitment to our college. Let us welcome Dr. March as she gives us a faculty member's perspective on education and graduation. My friend Liz.
Well, I'm so excited to be here first. I just have to say that. Thank you, graduates, for the opportunity to address this gathering. I'm representing OCOM's faculty today, a diverse and talented body, and to be selected for this task is a great honor. Welcome to this moment. These past months and the coming months are a time of great transition, of moving from intern to licensed acupuncturist, passing your boards, of moving from master to doctor, of moving from student to teacher. But right now is the pivot this transition rests on. Before we go any further, I'd like first to pause to bring those who aren't here, either by their choice or by our loss, here with us. Let's take a breath and bring them here with us. Thank you. From the moment you chose this medicine, this path, you became an ambassador. You began teaching it. You possibly met raised eyebrows from some, and you had to explain what you'd be studying. You did. You persevered. You knew within yourself that this training was the way you wanted to go. What inspired you to make this decision? Consider, Joe mentioned many things, but it's different for each of us. What sent you back to school to get a first or a second degree in Chinese medicine? Here at the journey's end of your education, these motivations are the ones to carry you back into your life, back to your loved ones, your families, friends, home, and back to yourself, back to that message from your heart. From your present position, consider the person you were, how different you are now, but also how much the same. By challenging yourself to achieve this level of mastery, you are more yourself, more aware of your strengths, your limitations. By taking on the responsibility of a healthcare career, or by adding more skills and knowledge to an existing one, or by stepping up as a leader in our profession, you have transformed. Or as it always seems from my viewpoint as faculty, the medicine has changed you. This year in Chinese cosmology is the year of the Yang wood horse, as many of you know. In the language of Chinese medicine, the horse belongs to the heart, which in turn belongs to the fire element of the Taoist 5-element theory. The heart is thought to be the corollary of the emperor in ancient Chinese government. The philosophy of the 5 elements has laws governing the relationships between them. The law of generation says that the element preceding each generates the next. So we say wood is the mother of fire, and fire the mother of earth, and so on. Relative to this generating cycle, to be in a wood year with a fire official, the emperor, ascendant, is highly auspicious and prosperous. As I said, the wood feeds the fire, nourishes the heart, which is representative of our inner knowing, our central purpose, if you will. With this combination of forces, this year is considered to be the most auspicious for starting an endeavor motivated by a deep desire, a heart's desire. This is a time now to reflect on the path of your life and the decisions you've made that have led you here to this moment, and choose carefully, but with commitment, your direction. This choice will be well supported. True success comes from satisfaction in one's work, loving what we do. Let this guide you in your choice of direction. And remember all that we do. We have many tools in our tool bags. This culture calls us acupuncturists, but only because we haven't taught them otherwise. The tools we hold have a far broader range than just needles. There are the obvious ones, if you've received treatment, the cups, the herbs, the understanding of diet and knowledge of Qigong, our massage skills. But more simply, and perhaps more powerfully, we have our words, the kindness and strength in our tone and manner, and the desire to aid our patient's transformation. We have literally the connection between our hearts and our hands. We also have the mystery, the undefinable something that is created between patient and practitioner, rapport, the environment where we work, and the hopes and needs of all the participants in treatment. The moment when we choose one treatment over another, the fact that though we have all learned from mostly the same materials, we rarely ever choose the exact same path through to the treatment, and it still works. The fact that the more you learn, the less you know for sure, and the more you have to rely on your heart, your intuition for guidance through these decisions. Many of us will endeavor to define qi, to quantify the magic in this medicine. And while that sounds difficult, endeavoring a path of research, I want to remind you that all medicine that is practiced in this world has its roots in mystery traditions. The desire to understand the unknown has been treasured by many before us. It is that desire that brings us to new understanding of our work, of the human body, and of disease. Whether we approach through the portal of Taoist philosophy or scientific method, we will find ways to many solutions. This is not going to be popular to say, but I think it's time to get back to work. But what a great job we have. A job we've chosen and work we want to do. Graduates, today, as we all pass from this ceremony, we, your faculty, will greet you as colleagues. We who have found our place in this medicine will look to you, each one, to find your place, your passion, your home in the medicine. We look to you to be the future, our hearts and hands, our next teachers, scholars, and researchers. And we will stand with you as we endeavor, all of us, to fulfill OCOM's mission to transform healthcare.
Thank you, Liz. So inspiring. The whole idea of transforming healthcare starts with transforming us. And I have to say, I'm one of those young wood horses. And if you stay open, just hang on. It's quite an interesting year. Many years ago, Dr. Beth Birch and I overlapped a bit of time during our naturopathic medical education, so we go way, way back. Dr. Birch, as Dean of Doctoral Studies, is the leader of OCOM's doctoral program. Under her expert tutelage, our doctoral program has become one of the premier educational programs of its type in the U.S. Dr. Birch has extremely high educational and ethical standards that she brings to all of her interactions with students, faculty, and the greater healthcare community. I can always count on Beth to raise important questions in our meetings around educational issues and the process by which we address them. Dr. Birch has boundless energy and a strong commitment to excellence. When she's not working, she can be found on her sailboat, aptly named Sabbatical, trying to maintain a sense of balance. Please welcome my friend and colleague, Beth.
Good afternoon. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, Dr. Lee Hollander-Rubin. I first met Lee 8 years ago when she came to interview for admission to the OCOM doctoral program. And in that brief talk with her, I knew that she would not only be an excellent doctoral student, but also develop into a leader and a scholar of acupuncture and oriental medicine. She has done that and more. Lee graduated with her Master of Science degree from Bastyr University in 2001 and her Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine from OCOM in 2009. When she entered OCOM's doctoral program, she had more than 5 years' experience managing an acupuncture program at a private conventional fertility clinic near Seattle, Washington. And she had the foresight to record the birth outcomes of the women in her practice who had in vitro fertilization and also received different standardized acupuncture protocols or traditional Chinese medicine diagnosed-based treatment. She went on to utilize that data that she collected for her doctoral capstone project. In her most recent research, she found that 12 visits during an IVF cycle significantly improved the odds of live birth compared to those that underwent usual IVF care alone. The 12 sessions were also more effective compared to 2 standardized acupuncture treatments on the day that the embryos were transferred back. From 2011 to 2012, Dr. Hollander-Rubin was OCOM's first postdoctoral research fellow, funded by a National Institutes of Health educational grant. During her fellowship, she completed the Human Investigations program at the Oregon Health and Science University. And as part of her requirements for that certificate, prepared a grant proposal which led to an award from the National Vulvodynia Association, a grant to investigate the feasibility of acupuncture added to lidocaine treatment for chronic vulvar pain. This was in 2013, and her study is currently underway. She is also a teacher, teaches our doctoral infertility module, and supervises in our doctoral clinic. She is also adjunct research faculty at the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine, as well as visiting research faculty at the Oregon Health and Science University. In addition, Dr. Hollander-Rubin practices at her clinic, the Portland Acupuncture Studio, and is in the process of preparing another grant submission to investigate acupuncture to prepare for labor in high-risk pregnancies with gestational diabetes to determine its effects on the need for induction and cesarean delivery. Lee, we are so proud of what you have accomplished, and we look forward to seeing your future achievements. I ask you all to please help me in welcoming an amazing scholar and practitioner and a good friend, Dr. Lee Hollander-Rubin.
Okay, I'm gonna do my timer here. I don't want anyone to have a fee because of me. I want to say hat tip to the sound guy for playing the Pixies when we walked in. That was pretty awesome. So, let's get started. So I want to say thank you, Dr. Birch, Dr. Gaeta, the OCOM faculty, the class of 2014, and family, friends, and partners. I am incredibly honored to be here today to commemorate this monumental event with you. As your name's called, and you navigate from one side of the stage to the other, you are transformed. You're no longer a student. You're now my colleague. I'm just going to move back a little. And with that comes great responsibility. But before we go there, let's recall the first time we met. So you master's students, I'm sure you remember meeting me in your first class on Chinese medicine on the first week of your course, and you're probably thinking, oh man, who's this lady? And then the doctoral class, meeting you the first time in the clinical case studies course. I hope you've all forgiven me for being so tough on you, but here we are today, and on the day that you walk across the stage to get your diploma, and a diploma that formally represents the skills and knowledge for which you worked hard to attain. And in just moments, you're going to call yourself graduate or doctor. And this is an amazing journey to now, full of challenges and obstacles, all to bring you to this moment. And so now that you're my colleague, that carries responsibility, the Chinese medicine classic, The Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, says, a good healer cannot depend on skill alone. The healer must have the correct attitude, sensitivity, compassion, and a sense of responsibility. Great, more homework. When can I just be that awesome acupuncturist I am destined to be? Well, it's a good question. You are at the start of a new phase of your career, either as a licensed acupuncturist or as you're transitioning into becoming a leader in Chinese medicine. Whichever category, there is still more work to do. And there will continue to be many challenges that you have to face. And today, graduates, I want to talk to you a little bit about those challenges and obstacles and barriers, and maybe give you a few ideas of how you might navigate them. So recently, I had an acupuncture-related meeting that I had to attend in downtown Chicago, and my in-laws, who are here today, hi there, they live in Evanston, and it's a suburb right outside of Chicago. And if you've never been there, it's basically where every John Hughes movie has ever been filmed. And Northwestern University is there. It's really a lovely place. And so I invited my husband to join me, and that also means that my dog has to come along. So I invited them both, and I just want to tell you why I have to bring my dog is because he's very high maintenance, much like me, but he is actually more anxious and has intense separation anxiety. So if he can't see us, he loses his mind, and I have to tell you, you've never seen what 16.5 pounds of terror and anxiety can do to a floor, to a door, to whatever. So my husband and I agree, yes, we're taking the dog, we're flying to Chicago, and we get there, and I'm like, for the win, we have a great plan. And so we're headed up to the taxi stand, and because I have to go downtown to make it to my meeting, I've got like basically an hour and a half, I've got to get dinner, got to get down there, and my husband's going to in exactly the opposite direction. We just agree, okay, you take a taxi here and I'll take a taxi there. So we get there and I hop in the second taxi, he grabs the first one, and you know, it takes him a little bit longer to get in just because he's got the dog, and my taxi driver apparently is Speedy Gonzalez because we're already taking and I'm just waving goodbye. And the first thing he says to me is, no way I'd let that dog in my car. I was like, uh-huh. And he says, it would smell up my cab. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. I recognize this is your kingdom. You'd like to maintain a pristine appearance and a faint smell of burnt rubber and Doritos, but that's your prerogative. So we're driving along, and we're about ready to merge on the interstate, and I'm noticing, gosh, it's kind of a rough ride. But, I'm worried that, oh my God, this taxi driver is not going to take my husband and my dog, and they're going to be stuck at the airport. So I start texting him, like, hey, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. He took the dog. He just doesn't know where Evanston is. And I'm like, okay, well, they have the GPS. They'll be fine. So great. Everything's okay. We're on our way. I'm going to make my meeting, and I hear my my driver just like, man, I can't believe this. And I notice to the left, wow, there's a lot of traffic going on, and the road's a little bumpier than I thought. And I also kind of noticed that this car is sort of coming up really close on our right, and the taxi driver yells out, "Oh my God, Mark, we got a flat tire. We got to pull over." And at the same time, this taxi driver to the right of us is like, honk, 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 you got a flat tire. All right, so have you seen movies where you're on a travel, the traveling man movies, and the person's dragging their bag behind them as they're walking down the side of the highway? That was me. That was me. So we pull over, and he's basically like, look, there's the train station. You're going to be fine. Just walk up there, and you'll get on it. And by the way, that'll be $8. Okay, so I have an hour now to get to my meeting, and he's right, there is a train that's right there, and I just have to figure out how to get to it because there is no direct path. And the train runs between two directions of traffic. I don't know if you've been to Chicago, but it's basically off-ramp, direction going north, then you've got your trains, and you've got direction coming south, and basically concrete barriers separating everything. And there's this pedestrian bridge up ahead where I'm like, if I can get to that stairwell, I can walk across, get to the train. So I schlep up there, and I get to the point where the stairwell is, and I peer over the concrete barrier, and basically it's a 6 to 8 foot drop down. So there's no way. I'm jumping 15 feet to my death. And with my bags, let's be sensible. So I'm like, okay, I have to cross the traffic, modern-day Frogger style. Except I will avoid being splatted. I will make direct eye contact with the next taxi driver. I will engage them, and we will have an unspoken truce. You will not drive over me. So graciously, a driver stops, and I heave my bag over, and then myself on this concrete barrier. And if you haven't noticed, I'm not that tall, so it was a little bit of an effort. And cross the street, do it the second time. And as I look back to say thank you to the taxi, or not to the taxi, to the driver, he's like, and just drives off. And I look down, and I'm like, whatever. I am covered in white concrete dust, and of course wearing black jeans, so I look stupid. Okay, so you didn't figure that. I looked stupid. But I have to tell you that sartorial humiliation was but a small price to pay. Ladies and gentlemen, I owned that concrete barrier. I'm gonna make my meeting. I'm gonna make it downtown, and I did not die from a 20-foot fall. So I do get to my meeting. I share my story with my colleagues, and it dawned on me, this is an allegory for us, all of us. Because every day, whether you're a student, a new practitioner, or a seasoned one, we're all faced with choices, obstacles, sometimes concrete barriers on an interstate off-ramp, and we have a choice. We can remain stuck, or we can navigate around them. And it doesn't matter how, but that we do it. And John Quincy Adams wrote, "Courage and perseverance have a magical talisman before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish into air." And I interpret that to mean that they are a means to an end, but how do we develop these alleged courage and perseverance you speak of, Mr. Adams? So being the pragmatic researcher that I am, I wrote down a couple of ideas. And then I sought to engage the relevant stakeholder input from people like yourselves, other acupuncturists. And so I took this to an online forum, and I asked, based on your experiences, if you could give one piece of advice to a graduating acupuncture student that you wished someone would have bestowed upon you, what would it be? I left it open-ended because, I didn't want to bias anybody. And, we got 123 comments, and and there was actually considerable overlap with the ideas that I had jotted down. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you the top 5 tools needed to engender courage and perseverance and to be a successful acupuncturist. Do you want to hear them? Yes, let's do this. Okay, I swear this is not some dumb clickbait. Okay, we are not on Buzzworthy or Upfeed. And my intention, actually, is that you will think about this, you'll talk about it, and even if you don't agree with me, that it's just something that you kind of work out in your mind whether or not this applies to you or not. Okay, we ready? Let's do it. So in the online group, the most commonly cited theme amongst the commenters was something I also put at the top of my list, and the first tool is to please be patient. Much like anything, achieving a goal takes time and an energy investment. You gotta show up and do the work. Store and contain your resources so they are able to handle the long haul. Prepare for the long game. Several commenters actually advised, consider growing slowly and not to quit your day job before you were ready. And yes, you have to show up, but we also have to be patient. And usually a full practice doesn't happen overnight, obviously, and sometimes it takes a little longer even than a year, but you say, hey, I'm going to show up and I really want to help people. I want to help them transform. What do I do? Well, sometimes it requires you see things in a different way, and that brings me to tool number 2. Go where there is a need. So in order to facilitate your patient's transformation, we may have to go where there's a need. And on the one hand, that could mean a physical move to a new geographical location. There's 43 states and the District of Columbia that license acupuncturists. And Dr. Tim Chapman, who's not here today, but he's our esteemed Vice President of Academic Affairs, he reported there is an estimated 30,000 actively practicing licensed acupuncturists in the United States. And they largely reside on the coasts. There's a lot of land in between the 2 coasts. And there's often a lot of places without many acupuncturists. So you have to kind of think, is this something I could do? Could I move? Maybe, maybe not. But there are places that could use us, places like the Gulf states come to mind, the Plain states. But if you can't move, like you're married to living in a fine city like Portland, Oregon, we have to get creative while we're being patient. Did I say creation? I meant creative. So Proust wrote, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Find your community or specialize in something that others are not. Create the market for your services, and that brings me to number 3. And it's something actually Dr. Guohui Liu also said, and Dr. March. Never stop learning. Warm and nourish that most important organ you have, your brain. Chinese medicine is a lifelong endeavor, and whether you now are ready to become licensed or you just spent 2 years specializing in developing a clinical specialty, you already likely know there is way more to learn. And you've indeed learned a lot so far, but we've just scratched the surface. One of my teachers at Bastyr used to say, Western medicine, it's hard to learn, but it's easy to practice. Chinese medicine, it's easy to learn, but hard to practice. So I understood that to mean that, while the basics don't change, it's the depth of knowledge and skill at applying them in clinical practice that's developed over time. And in Western medicine, the diseases are always changing names. You got tests and treatments and risks and discoveries. It's all happening all the time. So for us, thankfully, ours stay the same. Our systematic approach, employing the querying, the listening, the palpating, the smelling, the observing, you can always rely on them. They are the fundamentals. That's why they're called that. Your peers also suggested finding a mentor. I agree with this. I was very fortunate to have a mentor early in my career, and I'm forever grateful to her for her openness, patience, and support. Now, also through continuous professional development and mentorship, we're able to face those difficult cases, like the couple who can't get pregnant despite all of their tests being normal, or the woman with chronic pain who's basically facing surgery as her final and last option with her doctor. Continual learning will cultivate your professional skill set. It'll grow your network, improve your clinical success, and ultimately help your patients get better. You're going to want to know there's a resource for you to access if you need it. And as your network grows, it inevitably engenders tool number 4. And this is where my ideas sort of diverge a bit from your peers, but I still think it's important. And this tool will provide you with the motive force to propel you and Chinese medicine into the consciousness of your community, and that is to get involved. This is how we get movement. How do you get involved? You join and participate in your neighborhood associations and your organizations, your state associations, publish case studies and research journals. Talk about the effectiveness and safety of acupuncture to doctors and consumer groups. Write about acupuncture, herbs, and Chinese medicine in blog posts, television segments, magazine articles. Participate in Chinese medicine-related service by serving on boards or committees. And if you can't participate in something, and you know someone who can, recommend them, because we're all in this together. And we're all responsible for the development of Chinese medicine on the local, state, and national levels. Family, friends, and partners, here's where you can help us too. Help your acupuncturists get involved in the community. Tell your coworkers, your doctors, your primary care providers, the people that you hang out with, the groups that you attend. Tell them about the benefits you see they provide to their patients, and by they, I mean the acupuncturists. Now, the 5th tool might be a little controversial, but since I have the microphone, I would be remiss not to talk about it. So the 5th tool that will engender courage and perseverance is pluralism. I knew it was going to be quiet. So pluralism essentially means you are well-versed in 2 systems of medicine. I implore you, be a pluralist, to continue to defend the place Chinese medicine has in supporting the health and wellness of Americans. We must be pluralists. We know that Chinese medicine provides a great benefit to Western medicine. It improves the effectiveness of other treatments, it reduces patient stress, it improves medical outcomes, and improves patient satisfaction with care. We are also a reasonable standalone alternative to many allopathic treatments. From my perspective, you, dear graduate, and I, we need to be pluralists, deftly engaging with Western medicine while practicing our own. Several years ago, I attended a course by Jane Littleton, and she's a well-known infertility and Chinese medicine expert from Australia. And during her talk, she spoke a bit about the purists and the pragmatists. It sounds like a band, but it's not. And purists want nothing to do with research. They only want to discuss the things according to Chinese medicine terms. They think research is a waste of time, and it's definitely not Chinese medicine. Pragmatists, on the other hand, they're on the other end of the spectrum. They don't care what we have to give up in order to get our foot in the door at the Western medicine facility. They'll accept standardized treatments, and they really don't care how it happens. Well, I think it's important to demonstrate the effectiveness of Chinese medicine, but standardized treatments without reference to Chinese medicine diagnosis is indeed not Chinese medicine. So what do? I think the middle ground is by being a pluralist. I do not accept that Western medicine is the enemy, and I do not accept that research is a waste of time. It does not require that I give away my training or my medicine, and I think we need to be the best acupuncturists and herbalists we can be and be familiar with the Western medicine management of diseases and conditions and be familiar with the evidence to support why acupuncture and or Chinese herbs may be an effective addition to the Western care that they're already receiving. So through pluralism, we protect and defend our practice and its effectiveness, but we practice it our way. Not their way, our way. In defense of the purists, acupuncture research used to not represent Chinese medicine very well, if at all. But the tide is turning. The National Centers of Complementary and Alternative Medicine will no longer fund sham-controlled acupuncture trials. Acupuncture research designs are now actively employing Chinese medicine diagnosis as a basis for treatment, and that's what I'm doing in my study and what a lot of other people are doing as well. Other studies make no limitation on the acupuncturist treatments whatsoever. Basically, the acupuncture goes in, they evaluate the patient, they treat them, that's the research intervention. There's no limitations, and I can't wait to do that in my next study. So we're seeing important and significant research outcomes as a result of this approach, and acupuncture is demonstrating its effectiveness to improve patient outcomes when compared to the usual medical management of a condition like chronic depression or chronic pain or migraines. And so from my perspective, this is where Chinese medicine research really pays off its dividends. If we want insurance companies to reimburse us for the effective treatments we provide, we need to have the research to back it up. As an example, Shelley Stump, our former vice president of operations, and her research assistants were instrumental in collecting and assessing the research needed for the Oregon Association of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine to bring that to the Oregon Health Plan and then substantiate additional acupuncture coverage for previously uncovered conditions. As a result, the OHP added migraines, post-stroke depression, and several pregnancy-related conditions to their covered list. This increase in coverage required us to communicate to the state on their terms. And effective communication is a critical skill of pluralism. I believe we can absolutely practice our medicine while effectively communicating it in a comprehensible way and employing the results from well-designed research. We can engage in a dialogue that transcends cultural limitations, but we absolutely do not lose the central tenets of Chinese medicine. Yin, yang, the vital substances, and so on. We know what that means. And we know how to assess it, we know how to manage it, so our patients can achieve their health and wellness. We can and should apply these concepts in clinical practice. But the doctor, the physical therapist, or patient that you have likely has zero idea as to what you're talking about when you say, hey, fibromyalgia patient, the reason why you're experiencing fatigue in the morning is because your spleen doesn't ascend in the clear yang. Come again? Recall that first experience in your first class of TCM theory. At the start of the course, you probably never heard of a majority of the things we talked about. And this, my friends, is where the rest of the world resides. And they're going to continue to reside there. And it does not make them inferior, not at all. But we can engage those communities that we're passionate about on their terms, and we can teach them about Chinese medicine because we're the expert with a greater depth of awareness and understanding that is not easily understood by the untrained. But we need to make it easier for them and tailor it to the audience that we have. So these 5 tools, patience, going to where there is a need, continuous learning, community involvement, and pluralism, are similar to the functions of Qi. They're the tools that allow you to contain, transform, warm, propel, and defend your practice, our careers, and our profession in our communities of interest. See what I did there? Do you guys see that? See what I did? Okay. They engender the courage and perseverance needed to resolve the obstacles ahead. I too am on this journey, and I employ these tools every day. I'm hungry to learn as much as I can about Chinese medicine. My husband can attest I have a major book problem. And I have to practice patience every day in a city with a lot of acupuncturists. Many of you also know what that's like. I'm involved in a community through my work in research, teaching, state and professional associations, and the Accreditation Commission. And I'm a practicing pluralist, engaging my patients and their physicians by sharing treatment plans, research, and other articles. I invite you to participate in this approach as you leave today and begin this next phase of your career. In closing, I wish to say to every one of you with heart-centered sincerity, congratulations. You guys rock. You have achieved so much. And I'll leave you with this Chinese proverb. The superior doctor prevents sickness. The mediocre doctor attends to impending sickness. The inferior doctor treats actual sickness. Now, graduates, doctors, go forth. Use your education Employ these 5 tools and become the superior doctor your community needs. Show up, navigate the obstacles, own them, and then do the work. The acupuncture community really needs us. Healthcare needs us. And most importantly, the patients. They absolutely need us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. Wonderful words. I could expound on every one of those 5 points that she talked upon. I won't. It would be here way too long. But as all of you probably know me, I would agree with everything that she said. So when you get into practice, when you go back to your offices, think about those 5 points and see how you can make each one of them begin to happen for yourselves. So as befits a graduation ceremony, we should hear from the students who have spent tremendous amounts of time and energy studying medicine, right? Who better to speak of life at OCOM than the students? So let's hear their reflections, their thoughts, and their feelings on what has been a transformative journey and what will bring new challenges. I would like to begin with Liz Spetnagel, who will speak for the doctoral class. Liz was born, raised, and continues to live and practice in Denver, Colorado. She has done considerable work with makeup for several big-name shows around the country, something I had no idea about until a couple days ago. And even a bigger issue that I didn't know about, she's a celebrity. She was nominated for an Emmy Award for her work on a PBS Great Performances show. How impressive is that? She says that one of her goals is to get people to eat more fruits and vegetables, something I would heartily agree with. It's one of the best things you can do to improve your health. So let's hear from Liz. Let's hear her perspective on her time at OCOM. Liz?
I don't usually wear high heels. Okay. So 2 years ago, I first met the members of the 2014 Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine cohort. I thought to myself, these people are the future of this medicine. Like Groucho Marx, I often questioned the legitimacy of any group or club that would have me as a member. While I was also concerned about the time required, the traveling, the sheer amount of work to be completed, it was this small group of colleagues that worried me the most. Was I good enough? Were we good enough to represent the elite practitioners of acupuncture and Oriental medicine? Completing the DAOM program represents 9 years of higher education, give or take. Some, like myself, have jumped in and out of this process over decades, and a few of the extraordinarily driven of my classmates have just powered through their undergraduate, master's, and now doctoral degrees. Frankly, that exhausts me just thinking about it. And those who did that impress me to no end. With the diversity of our backgrounds, areas of specific interests, practice styles, and dietary preferences, I'd say we are a spectacularly dynamic group that well represents the nature of this medicine to which we have devoted these past years studying and practicing. Our cohort is represented in international healthcare initiatives, has a presence in prestigious healthcare facilities. We are on state acupuncture boards. We are multilingual. We are musical. We are both linear and abstract in our thinking. We are geeked on the classics and translating more texts from Chinese, all the while bringing a modern understanding to this ancient medicine. We supervise and teach students of acupuncture and Oriental medicine. We educate our patients and the general public, as well as other healthcare providers. We utilize our various backgrounds in our approaches to patient care while staying on top of research in our field and contributing to that research. We agree and disagree with joyous fervor. Oregon College of Oriental Medicine's DAOM program has afforded us the opportunity to hear from and work with some true powerhouses in our field. The capstone projects have allowed, or forced, tomato, tomato, us to look closely at a topic that hopefully and genuinely holds our interest. In addition, the DAOM designation has afforded us the opportunity to repeatedly state, no, I'm not getting a PhD. Most importantly, we've had the gift of learning from each other. We now join the ranks of approximately 300 practitioners who have completed their Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. So what have we actually accomplished? Has it just simply added to our student loan debt? Created the need for updated business cards? Are we fooling ourselves about having completed something worthwhile? Time will tell. The reality remains that this medicine is becoming more widely accepted as a valid choice for healthcare in the United States and continues to expand its presence in hospital settings. It is crucial that we continue to raise the bar in our professional training. As it stands, what we do have is far from perfect, but improving. In a group this inspirational and, dare I say, frequently brilliant, we must become key players in improving the understanding of, education in, and dedication to the best practices of acupuncture and Oriental medicine. That includes continuing to expand our own knowledge, as well as participating in the process of educating future generations of AOM practitioners as teachers, developers of curriculum, and generators of new and improved research. Personally, I struggle with accepting this task to be part of the progress and future of AOM. I tend to relish the job of student, loving the process of acquiring new information, and reluctant to declare that I have mastered anything. I expressed a similar sentiment shortly before my undergraduate commencement ceremony. Dad assured me I felt this way because I was bright enough to realize that there is always something more to learn and another perspective to consider. So perhaps it's not the finishing of the Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine degree that should be impressive, but rather the fact that we all decided that there is something more to learn, whether we had only recently passed the licensing exam, had been in practice for 30 years, or somewhere in between. We all have people to thank for helping us through these past 2 years. On behalf of the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine, Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine 2014 cohort, I would like to especially thank our Dean of the Doctoral Program, Dr. Beth Birch, our Doctoral Clinic and Instructional Coordinator, Dr. Swaywa Lai, and our Associate Dean of Doctoral Studies and Chair of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine for the Doctoral Program, Dr. Jiao Shui Liu. I certainly don't envy their task of dealing with the 2014 cohort and our myriad issues. Candace Branham, OCOM's spectacular librarian, thank you. You have the patience of Job when it comes to working with those of us who are intermittently, technologically, and/or research challenged. To the faculty and staff of OCOM who made themselves available for our monthly modules working on Saturday and Sunday, thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing in the pain of a working weekend. Finally, the deepest gratitude for the family and friends that managed in our absences. Nagged us about assignments, drove us to and from airports, and kept us going when a series of stiff cocktails and a beach vacation started looking like a much better use of our time and money. I'm really not a crier, this is weird. For my colleagues who are 100% finished, I offer my deepest admiration. For those of us with a finishing touch or two to go, I look forward to celebrating again as each of us crosses that final finish line. I say with complete honesty that I already miss coming to Portland for the sometimes grueling modules. simply because of the interesting discussions and exceptional nature of my classmates. This is a group of women and men that I have come to deeply admire and respect. Groucho was mistaken. I have been honored to be a member of this small club and look forward to hearing of their many future achievements in and contributions to the practice of acupuncture and Oriental medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. You know, coming to the doctoral program is really quite a commitment. It's an amazing thing that these folks have done to come here once a month practically for 2 whole years, for 4 to 5 days at a time. It's really amazing. And I encourage you all from the class of 2014 DAOM program to stay in communication with one another. Email is an easy way to do that. There are a lot of ways that you can stay in communication and keep the feeling going. Jackie Wilson will speak next for the master's class. When I first met Jackie, we realized that we had several things in common, besides, of course, being interested in health. We were both from the Midwest. We were both hockey fans. Jackie's a quite well-rounded person. Besides her work in Chinese medicine, she is a registered yoga teacher. The outdoors is one of her passions. She gardens, hikes, camps, and travels during her free time, which you probably have guessed may not have been too extensive during the past few years. Jackie has distinguished herself at OCOM by serving as the student trustee on the OCOM board, a position in which she served for 2 years. That is quite a commitment in addition to the rest of her life and all of her studies. So it's my pleasure to turn this over to Jackie.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Where are you, Jill? There you are. Thank you, Jill. In just a few moments, my fellow graduates and I will walk across this stage and be granted our diplomas. I am honored to be speaking to you all for the last few minutes of our time at OCOM before we become masters and doctors of our profession. And what a time it's been. As I was getting some perspective on the last 4 years, a quote at the beginning of A Tale of Two Cities kept running through my head. It's been the best of times, it's been the worst of times. But in all honesty, it really has been the best. And when it was the worst, we had the support of everybody in this room. They helped us through. We have our families who supported us even when they didn't understand or know what we were doing or why we were doing it. But they engaged us, asked questions, and they eventually learned about our calling, our vocation. And I truly do believe that our profession is a vocation of service. Service to others, service to the community, and service to the world for cultivating health and well-being. So extra special thanks to our families and friends for coming from near and far. We greatly appreciate the effort and the love. We also greatly appreciate our partners who worked with us as we studied and studied with us and picked up some pinion along the way. And their unending patience. A few weeks ago, I had a conversation with Daniel. He's a new employee at our bookstore. And I asked him what he thought of working at OCOM so far. He had such an enthusiastic response and told me it was the best job he had ever had. And yeah, I had the same response. I was like, why? What's so great? And he said, it really is the people. He said everybody that he's met at every level has been so passionate and truly believes in what they're doing. And that just inspires him and makes him happy to come to work every day. So that's huge. And I really think that's what brought me to OCOM and what brought many of us to OCOM. It was the community and the passion. Everybody shares this belief and passion in our medicine. So we have so many people to thank at OCOM on this occasion. Staff, faculty, administrators, for taking the time to answer our questions, front desk staff for scheduling our patients so we got the experience we needed to graduate, our advisors, those in the registrar's office, and Aunt Judy. They all answered our questions again and again the first time, and then when we didn't listen the first time, and then when we needed some extra hand-holding, they were there too. So thank you so much from all of us for all you've done to keep OCOM running smoothly and keep us on our path. Something us graduates have been able to do to show our gratitude beyond a thank you or the occasional piece of chocolate is sometimes we're able to provide treatments for people at OCOM. They come to us, and it's a truly humbling experience because they open themselves up to us and tell us their problems with the hope we might help them. And I think that speaks a great deal not only to the trust they have in us, but to the great caliber of our professors and teachers, supervisors, who have gotten us to that point. They have opened up their hearts to us and shared their heart's wisdom. They've given us wonderful instruction, and they've become our friends. And as Liz mentioned, soon they'll be our colleagues, which is amazing and hard to even believe that we'll be in the same realm with them. But they'll still be our teachers, and we'll always still learn from them. We're eternally grateful. One time in Point Location, Dr. Coletto said something that stayed with me and I thought was a great analogy. We study a lot and we've memorized everything about the body and anatomy that we could in this time. And sometimes during tests we could get a little grumbly or like, oh, this is so much. And he said that what we were doing now was learning like a musician. A musician needs to learn their scales and their chords before they can start putting arrangements together. And what we have been doing is setting that solid foundation for our practice. And now, after we walk across this stage and to receive our diplomas, we'll be able to compose our own symphonies of health. There's been a lot of talk over the years about acupuncturists being lone wolves, guarding their secrets, not wanting to share or contribute to the betterment of the profession. But I have seen the exact opposite of my time at OCOM. I think that was when it was the best of times. We all share with each other. It's been the most sharing group, the most empathetic group I have ever been a part of. And we shared so much. Selflessly sharing study guides, acupuncture supplies, time, treatments, and trust. We even shared each other's bodies to learn acupuncture points on. I've even seen a good friend give the very shoes off of her feet so that another clinic intern could go to class and practice in her clinic shift because she had open-toed shoes. So we've shared everything. And I would be completely floored if we as a group chose to change that selfless mentality. We are all here to help each other. We will make our own beautiful music with our patients, creating and cultivating health by putting them in tune with their own bodies, their hearts, and their spirits. But to create harmony, everyone can't just solo at the same time. We'll all harmonize. Johnny might disagree. He's a punk musician, my brother. But we all can't solo at the same time. To create harmony, we have to share our cases, learn from each other, and that's how we'll collaborate. We'll collaborate in integrative practices with providers from different perspectives and modalities who use different instruments, but still will create harmony with them. And as we continue to expand our individual practices and our collective profession, we'll learn new melodies and harmonies and make them our own. The best advice I have received at OCOM is to trust that inner voice, trust our inner wisdom. We've internalized a lot of wisdom over the past 3 or 4 years. So the more we can be in tune with that, the more we can help our patients feel better, and they'll get more in tune with their inner wisdom. I truly believe that this group of people, these graduates, will go forth and change the world. And I could not be more excited to go out there with you and compose a beautiful symphony of health with you all. Thank you so much. We made it, guys. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. As I said to the doctoral graduates, I say the same to the master's graduates. Stay in touch. You have a community, you're forming a new community, and you're entering a big community. Go out there, change the world. So we've been sitting here for the past hour and a half or so, listening to some inspiring speeches, having a few laughs, spending some time with one another, but now we get to the point. We've come to the time where all the women and men seated here, our graduates, will receive their degrees. To confer the degrees, I would invite Dr. Gaeta back to the podium. Once the degrees are conferred, I would like several people to step forward. Dr. Beth Birch, Dean of Doctoral Studies, will present the doctoral graduates. Dr. Zhao Shui Lu, Associate Dean of Doctoral Studies and Chair of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine for the doctoral program, and Dr. Suihua Lai, Chair for the Doctoral Clinic, will distribute diplomas to the doctoral graduates. Following the doctor graduates, I will present the master's graduates. Carol Taub, Dean of Academic and Student Affairs, and Dr. Deborah Mulrooney, Associate Dean of Clinical Education, will distribute diplomas to the master's graduates. When the graduates have each received their degrees, Carol Taub will lead them in the taking of the acupuncture oath of practice. Dr. Gaeta?
It seems like there should almost be a drum roll or something. Thank you. Thank you. Right. The moment that the graduates I know for sure have been waiting for. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine, I now invite the presentation of the candidates for degrees. Please stand. I confer upon you the named candidates, the degree of Master of Acupuncture in Oriental Medicine, Doctor of Acupuncture in Oriental Medicine. You may move your tassel to the left side. And now, for the presentation of the graduates.
Sarah Bayer. Natalie Cabrera. Tal Cohen. Miranda Gensler. Jacob Godwin. Saryantra Kali. Britton Mann. Wade McCulloch. Carrie Morton. Sarah O'Byrne. Roland Saraki. Liz Spetnagel. Andrew Vu. Melissa Siobhan Yaden.
And now I will present the master's graduates, class of 2014. Samantha Avnet. Kyle Bake. Elizabeth Ann Betty Bear. Julie Barron. Tanya Barth. Melody Buse. Melissa Brock. Vanessa Chappell. Jana Ching. Megan Clowers. Glenda Culbertson. Janelle Dean. Winnie Dong. William Dong. Kelly Drury. Darcy Desick. Snezana Judovic. Jennifer Autumn Edwards. Melinda Fennell. Susan Fox. Jason Gauruder. Sarah Hammer. Ty Hank. Sarah Hennessy. Jonathan Ho. Mariko Hori. Amanda Johnson. Gwen Johnstone Slaney. Rosalind Habibulin. Abigail Korngold. Minhua Lee. Anya Love Lee. Lene Lewis. You're welcome. May Lim. Bryce Spider Lisser. Courtney Lomont. Lataya Marlin. Maya Martinez. Julie Moore. Joanna Ruth Nail. Whiskey Northrup. John Christopher Houston Oldland. Jessica Perry. Alicia Roselle. Ruth Rowe. Court Schmidt. Elliot Sitt. Jamie Slagle. Mateo Stefek. Jimmy Sparrow. Sarah Elizabeth Thomas. Congratulations. John E. Tim Jr. Andy Vial. Shelley Wager. Julia Walls. Jennifer M. Ward. James Whitmore. Jackie Wilson. Alicia Wimberly. Congratulations. Shannon Wolfram. Melissa Zappa. Leo Ju. Now, if the graduates can please stand, and any practitioners in the audience who would like to participate, please stand also, as Carol Taub will lead you all in the oath of practice.
I'll be pausing along the way, so please repeat it after me. I will devote my knowledge, skills, and creativity to understanding the nature of suffering and the means to relieve it. And the nature of health and the means to maintain it. I will treat without bias or prejudice. All those who come to me for care. I will treat them with dignity and in confidence. I will listen with compassion to their concerns and fears. I will help them understand and participate in the process of their own health and well-being. I will continue to build on the knowledge and skills that I have. So that I am better able to help those in my care. I will admit the limitations of my knowledge and skill. And seek assistance when necessary. I will cultivate myself in harmony with the processes of nature. In service to all beings. I solemnly swear to uphold these principles and precepts to the best of my ability. I am pleased to present the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine graduating class of 2014.
Please be seated. We're almost done. So, want to congratulate you graduates, doctors, and acupuncturists. You've chosen a path of service. a sacred path. With humility and commitment, you will be able to help relieve the suffering of those around you. Through your service to others, you will gain greater insights into yourselves and will further your own development. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your patients. Enjoy your work, and you will bring light and healing to all whom you touch. I wish you all the very best. And I would like to leave you with a quote from Lao Tzu. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become character. Watch your character as it becomes your destiny. So I'd like to thank you all for coming today, sharing these special moments. Please stay, greet the graduates, and join us for a reception and food in the lobby. You are all also invited to the after party at the Eagles Lodge at 4904 Southeast Hawthorne at 8 p.m. And there's a surprise at the after party. And I get to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. Actually, I get to let the llama out of the bag. Rojo the llama will be working on an appearance at the after party from 8 to 9 p.m. You don't want to miss it. So be there. So thank you all, and we'll greet you in the lobby.
This is how we do.